News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
We'll hear from the Lemhi County Sheriff about the investigation into that missing toddler. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Tuesday, January 26, 2016. Skies cloudy. It's 27 degrees. Roads are bare and dry, so a good day to be out traveling this morning. Our newscast sponsored by Dig It Excavating. That's where they bring 30 years of excellence to every job. Call 214-4292. Our top story this morning, new suspicions were raised this week in the case of a toddler that went missing from an Idaho campground near the Montana border not far from Dillon. 2-year-old Dior Coons Jr. was reported missing last July and is still missing, despite hundreds of volunteer hours searching for him. Lemhi County Sheriff Lynn Bowerman told KGVO News yesterday that the boy's parents are now suspects after a recent spate of polygraph interviews this past weekend.
So we submitted those interviews to the FBI Behavioral Investigative Team. They informed us that there were multiple discrepancies in those interviews. And so the FBI conducted a repolygraph of all individuals, and they came up with the same conclusion that the mother and the father were being less than truthful.
The parents had less than truthful responses to two particular questions at the heart of the case.
About the disappearance and about where he's located at this time, at the present time, and they were less than truthful on those two answers. We're just asking the public now if they have any information that might be helpful, especially if they know mom and dad and saw some unusual interaction between them and Dior Jr., to call us.
At one point, investigators thought that the boy had been eaten by a wild animal, but now the investigation has shifted toward a possible homicide. Sheriff Bowerman said, quote, he wouldn't rule out anything at this point, end quote, and noted that Dior Jr.'s parents have been participating in multiple fundraisers. A Northwestern energy rate hike that reflects the utility's increased property taxes has become permanent. The Public Service Commission Monday approved the $22 million rate increase, a 38-cent average increase on customers' monthly bills. This in addition to an average $4 per month temporary rate increase approved by the PSC last week. The company's state taxes increased after it bought 11 hydroelectric dams from PPL Montana for $900 million. State law allows Northwestern to automatically pass tax increases on to its customers. However, the PSC will require that Northwestern tell its customers what portion of their bills goes to pay the utility's taxes. The Commission also wants Northwestern to propose a way to recover its taxes based on each customer's utility electricity usage and not just as a fixed rate. With just days remaining before the January 31st deadline for purchasing 2016 individual health insurance plans through Obamacare or healthcare.gov, Montana Commissioner of Securities and Insurance Monica Lindeen warns if consumers should do their homework, especially if they're considering buying a short-term medical plan.
If you are looking at purchasing a short-term plan outside the healthcare.gov, if it doesn't meet the minimum threshold, which it won't as a short-term plan, that you're still going to end up paying the $695 or more in penalties.
Lindeen said there are some important questions to ask before you choose such a plan.
To make sure that you are meeting the minimum threshold with that plan, you want to ask three questions. Is renewal of the plan guaranteed? Is there a lifetime or annual payout limit? And finally, does the plan cover pre-existing conditions?
Lindeen said anyone with such a plan should consider canceling it immediately and signing up with a qualified plan before the January 31st deadline. Get more details on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. A Seattle man has been sentenced to 10 years in federal prison for sending methamphetamine from Washington to Missoula. The Missoula newspaper reports 36-year-old Albert Pedro Jaquez was sentenced last week in U.S. District Court after pleading guilty to felony conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance. His accomplice was sentenced to 5 years on the same charge. There were more out-of-state visitors to Montana in 2015, but overall they spent less money than the previous year, according to a new report from the University of Montana Institute for Tourism and Recreation Research. Assistant Director Kara Grau provided the preliminary numbers.
We had right around 11.7 million non-resident travelers coming through the state during 2015. And obviously they were doing a lot of different things and spending money in a lot of different areas. Their spending totaled about $3.6 billion in the state.
Grau details the economic benefits of out-of-state tourism in Montana.
When we're looking at the combined impact of the non-resident spending in Montana, our preliminary estimates are that it equates to nearly $4.9 billion worth of impact in terms of industry output in the state.
Grau said the decreased spending was simply due to lower gas prices, which will encourage out-of-state tourists to come back. A Missoula felony car theft investigation began and ended within a few hours on Friday. Missoula Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh has more.
At 7:35 last Friday morning, we had a report from a Missoula woman who said that her vehicle had been stolen from the alley behind her residence. She said she had started it up and was running it to try to warm it up before she left for the day. That vehicle was described as a 99 tan Toyota Camry.
Less than 3 hours later, the Camry was found with a suspect inside.
A short time later, it was recovered occupied in the 2300 block of North Reserve, where 26-year-old Ian Giddings was arrested. He was also held on drug-related charges, the drugs discovered at the time of the arrest.
No chase was required in retrieving the stolen vehicle, and the drug found on Giddings was marijuana. Welsh said the car theft is more common in Missoula than many think, with approximately 1 to 2 cases occurring every month. Don't start your car and leave it running. Research in Montana finds aggressively dealing with wolves that kill livestock works better than a gradual approach. Fish, Wildlife, and Parks biologist Liz Bradley said her research found that since killing livestock is a learned behavior for wolves, it's more effective for wildlife managers to remove more of the wolves earlier. That's the best option available. Montana's public school districts are doing a better job of identifying homeless students, which has improved connecting students with school community and local outreach organizations to provide important services. Superintendent of Public Instruction Denise Juneau has more.
We just released recently the homeless student information across the state, and what we're finding are that there are many more districts that are doing a better job of reporting their homeless student, which makes them eligible for federal funds under the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act.
Juneau addressed the homeless student issue here in Missoula.
Right there in Missoula, they have over 400 students that have been identified as homeless in their district, but it allows them to make community connections. The school itself has put homeless coordinators in each of their buildings so that they can better provide direct services to those students.
The U.S. Department of Education estimates that 10% of students who receive free or reduced lunch will at some time experience homelessness. Homeless families can be found living with friends or relatives in hotels or motels, shelters, camping out, or sleeping in cars. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Mostly cloudy skies today with our high temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. An isolated shower is possible this evening with lows in the mid-20s. We'll keep a slight chance of showers in the forecast on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.